Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Loko lokote bhante uchati, Kittavatanuko bhante lokote uchati, Lujjati itiko bhikkhu lokote uchati. Venerable bhikkhus, venerable bhikkhuni, and friends in the Dhamma, I am very happy to be here with you, to practice the Dhamma with you and to share the Dhamma with you. Dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha, which is well expounded, visible here in this very world, timeless. It invites us to come and see. When practiced, it gives us, it becomes our own Dhamma and to be realized by the wise individually. The Buddha has taught the Dhamma for 45 years. He has talked on many subjects. He knew everything. As the Buddha realized the nature of man, nature of himself, and the nature of the world, he basically talked on these two subjects, the world and humans, beings. He talked about the external world and internal world. There are two world systems to be understood. The emphasis is given to internal world. Therefore, we here today talk on the world, inner world. The topic for this Dhamma talk is the world within. The world within. There are two worlds, external world and internal world. We want to understand what the internal world is. As all of you know what the external world is, it is not necessary to talk lengthy on that topic. But it is better first we understand the external world, how the Buddha talked about the external world. When we think of the world, most time we think of many countries, oceans, humans, or natural beauty, scenic beauty, such things when you refer to world. There are some definitions. I found 3 definitions. There are many, of course. I don't want to go in details. I like to take 3 definitions given in the Oxford Dictionary. The first definition given is the world. What is the world? The world is the earth, together with its countries, peoples, and natural features. That is the first meaning. And the second one is the world is a planet like the earth. There may be some other worlds out there. That's the second one. And the third one is the world is a state of human experience, this world and the next. These are the three meaning or three definitions given. But as I see, these three are not close to the Buddhist meaning of the world, Buddhist concept of the world. The last one is a bit closer to the Buddhist concept of world. Buddhist concept of world or Buddhist concept of anything is together with consciousness. Say for instance, when we talk about life according to Buddhism is together with consciousness. So anything we talk together with consciousness. Consciousness, when there is a consciousness, there is feeling, there is perception, there is volitional formations. Together with all these, we talk about things. Because these are inseparable. These are inseparable but distinguishable. So, the Buddha talked about the external world as the Buddha knew the world systems, different world systems, thousands of world systems. He is known as the knower of the world, Loka Vidu. It is an epithet given to the Buddha. You know, when we recite the stanza, Itepi so bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijjacharana sampanno sugato loka vidu. Loka vidu means knower of the world. The Buddha knew the world systems. And we as Sri Lankans, we respectfully say that Tilo Guru to the Buddha. Tilo Guru. Guru is the teacher. Tilo means three world. So the Buddha was the teacher to the three world systems. What are the three worlds? We Buddhists talk about three world systems. What are the three worlds? Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka. The Buddhist term for world is Loka. So Kama Loka is sensuous sphere. Rupa Loka is material sphere. Arupa Loka is immaterial sphere. Three world system. Or sometimes we talk this as bhava. Kama bhava, rupa bhava, arupa bhava. Like existence. Bhava means existence. So we talk about these qualities of the Buddha. Loka Vidu is one of the epithets given to the Buddha. And the Buddha has talked on different occasions. The Buddha has talked about the world. When we refer to the different discourses like Mahasamaya Sutta, there is a particular discourse in the Digha Nikaya named Mahasamaya, means the great assembly, to which many deities came from 10 world systems. Not only this world, 10 world systems. Dasasu loka dhatusu devata sannipatita honti. That is how it is said in the sutta. And most of you know, when the Buddha delivered his first sermon, Dhamma-Talk-World Sutta, the discourse to the setting of the motion of the wheel, Dhamma-Talk-World Sutta, the maiden discourse of the Buddha, this message, the cry of sadhu, reached to many world systems. It is, according to the sutta, it is said Ayancha dasadahasi loka dhatu sankampi sampakampi sampavedi appamanocha ularo obhaso loke paturahosi. Ayancha dasadahasi 10,000 world systems. You see? In this universe, 10,000 world system. Sankampi. Kampi is to shook. Kampati is to shake. So 10,000 world systems shook and tremble, and the unsurpassed light arose in the world. That is how it is said in the discourse, Dhamma-Talk-World Sutta. Not only that, the Buddha has talked about 1,000 world systems. According to Anguttara Nikaya, the Ananda Vagga of the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha very clearly said, there are 1,000 world systems, twice 1,000 world system, and thrice 1,000 world system. Sahasri lokadhatu, disahasri lokadhatu, and tisahasri lokadhatu. Many world systems in this universe. Buddha knew all these things. You know, in the time of the Buddha, some people believed and they argued. Wherever they go, they try to argue. They say that the world is eternal. They believe that and they try to argue with others. They say world is eternal. Sassato loko. And some others, they say world is not eternal. Asassato loko. Some others say the world is definite. Antava loko. And some others, still others say anantava loko. The world is indefinite. Like that. Fourfold ways, fourfold arguments. They sometimes went to the Buddha and put these questions to the Buddha. When they went to the Buddha, they asked Bhante, is the world eternal or not? Eternal or not? Buddha is silent. Then they put the question, Bhante, is the world non-eternal or not? Buddha silent, kept silent. And they asked Bhante whether is the world definite or not. No answer, silent. The world infinite or not. Buddha kept silent. Because these are not relevant. These are irrelevant for the path. Therefore, the Buddha did not answer these questions. Like that, there are 10 questions which are called unanswered questions. Unanswered questions. Buddha did not answer these questions. Buddha kept this aside as they are irrelevant. For that, there is a famous, this story, famous story of the handful of leaves. Once the Buddha lived in a certain woods, Sinsapa woods, Sinsapa forest, where he got some leaves, some Sinsapa leaves to his hand, and showing that to the bhikkhus, to the monks. The Buddha asked, monks, which is more, the leaves in my hand or the leaves in this woods? Then it is clear, the monk said, Bhante, Venerable Sir, the leaves in your hands is very few, little things, few. But the leaves in the woods are many. So the Buddha said, like that, monks, the Dhamma I realized is like the leaves in the woods. But the Dhamma I have taught to you is like this. only this little, like the leaves in my hand. I do not talk about other things because those are irrelevant. What is relevant is given. Without keeping the Guru Musti, the teacher's fist. That was a tradition. Some teachers, they don't give something, they hide something. Secret. There is some secret in their teachings. But the Buddha taught the Dhamma without keeping keeping anything secretly. Buddha said his Dhamma, when it is open, it becomes bright. So the Buddha said what is relevant, not what is irrelevant. This world systems, Buddha knew the whole world system, but the Buddha did not want to talk about these things because these are irrelevant to the path. He talked what is beneficial, what is good, what is relevant to the path. When the Buddha talked, normally the Buddha talked about things which are conducive to disenchantment, dispassion, to cessation, to peace, to knowledge, and to the awakening, and to Nibbana. These 7 factors. If the topic is relevant, if the topic is conducive to these things, relevant to these 7 factors, then only the Buddha talked about such topics. Once the Buddha, addressing the monks, said, in the past, 31 years ago, there lived a Buddha named Sikhi. During that time, the lifespan of humans was 70,000. So all humans lived 70,000 years. By this time, the Buddha Sikhi one day wanted to visit Brahma world. He had 2 chief disciples named Abhibhu and Sambhava. The Buddha asked Venerable Abhibhu to accompany him to visit Brahma world. So the Buddha and the chief disciple of the Buddha, Abhibhu, they visited the Brahma world, where the Buddha asked Venerable Abhibhu to deliver a sermon, give a Dhamma talk. He gave a talk, but the Brahmas they were not satisfied. They started to murmur, to like, how the monk disciple deliver a sermon in the presence of the Buddha. As the Buddha is present here, it is the Buddha to give a talk, not the disciple. So the Buddha understood this murmuring, and Buddha then asked Venerable Abhibhu to give a talk by performing some miracles. So he gave a talk performing some miracles, and then at the end all the Brahmas were satisfied. They all became very happy. And thereafter he wanted to fulfill a promise. He had promised among the monks, Venerable Abhibhu had made a promise among the monks that one day if he got a chance to go to the heaven, go to the Brahma world, he would make a voice to be heard to 1,000 world system. Now this is the opportunity, so he asked the permission of the Buddha. Sikhi, Buddha permitted him, he gave permission, and he from there made the voice. He recited the stanza. He said, Arabhata, Nikhamata, Yunjata Buddha Sasane, Dhunata Machuno Senang Nalagarang Kunjaro. That was the voice, that was the stanza he recited from the Brahma world to be heard to 1,000 world system. Arabhata, arouse energy. Nikkamata, go forward. Yunjata Buddha Sasane, exert in the dispensation of the Buddha. Dhunata Machuno Senang, destroy the army of death. Nala Garanga Kunjaro, as the elephant destroyed a hut made of reed. Destroy the army of Mara. This means defilement, destroy defilements. That was the stanza he recited. So when they came back at the monastery, the monks, when inquired, they said that they heard this sound. So this Venerable Abhibhu made this voice to be heard from 1,000 world system. On another day, the Venerable Ananda went to the Buddha and asked Bhante, Venerable Sir, the other day, as the Blessed One said that Venerable Abhibhu made a sound, made a voice to be heard from 1,000 world system. Then the question he asked was, Venerable Sir, if the Blessed One, if the Buddha make a voice, how many thousands of world system could be heard this? Then the Buddha said, Ananda, it is infinite. Then he was not satisfied. Venerable Ananda was not satisfied with that answer. He asked for the second time and the third time. Then the Buddha said, there are thrice 1,000 world systems in this universe. So the Buddha could make a voice to be heard for the thrice 1,000 world system. Like this, the Buddha has talked about the world systems. But if we simply talk about these external world systems, we just waste our life, just waste our time. The Buddha saw this like wasting our time, because we don't live longer. You see, in comparison to these two periods, like the time of the Buddha Sikhi, as I said earlier, the lifespan of the humans was 70,000. Now ours, the lifespan is 70. That is the difference. Now we live only very short time. That is why the Buddha emphatically taught us the nature of the inner world, to be understand the inner world, the world within. Let's now understand what the world within. Once a certain deity, many deities, many angels came to the Buddha to listen to the sermons. At one night, a certain deity came to the Buddha and said, Kenasu uddito loko, kenasu parivarito, kenasu pihito loko, kisming loko patitito. He asked asked Bhante, Kenasu uddito loko, by what is the world ensnared? Kenasu parivarito, by what is the world enveloped? Kenasu nivto loko, by what the world is the world shut in, and on what the world is established? 4 questions. Then the Buddha said, Tanhaya uddito loko, jaraya parivarito. Tanhaya uddito loko, jaraya parivarito. Machona pito loko, dukhe loko patitthito. Tanhaya uddito loko, the world is ensnared by craving. The world is enveloped by decay. The world is shut in by death, and the world is established on suffering. This is how the Buddha explained the world. This world is within. This is the world. This world is ensnared like a trap. We are trapped by craving, and we are enveloped by decay, shut in by death, and this whole world, this world is established on suffering, dissatisfaction. That is the meaning. So in this world, in this world, what is to be understood is the craving. Once the Buddha compared craving to streams, there are 6 kinds of streams: eye craving, ear craving, nose craving, tongue craving, body craving, and mind craving. 6 types of craving, 6 types of streams. This is how we have to understand this world. And on another occasion, 16 students, they went to meet the Buddha, and they asked many questions. There was one student's name, Mogaraja. He asked Bhante, Katang lokang avekkantang machu raja napassati. Bhante, how should one see the world so that the king of Mara cannot be seen him? How should one see the world so that the king of Mara could not see him? Then the Buddha said, Sunyato lokang avekhasu mogaraja sada sato attanu ditting uhacha evang machu taro siya evang lokang avekkantang machu raja napassati. The Buddha said, see the world as empty. This world means not the external world, this internal world. This is the world. The Buddha said, this is the world. So see this world as empty, because there is nothing permanent in this world. Internal or external, nothing permanent. Everything is ever changing. So see the world as empty. When you see things as empty, you see that there is nothing permanent. That is the meaning of emptiness. Emptiness means empty with soul, empty with the self, permanent entity, substance. There is no substance in the world, no permanent things in the world, within or without. So the Buddha's advice here is, observe the world as empty, sunyato lokang avekhasu. And then the Buddha said, sada sato, try to be mindful all the time. If you are mindful all the time, then only you can see this world as empty. Sada sato. Then attanu ditting uhacha. Atta ditti means self-view. We have a wrong belief that there is something permanent. There is a soul, there is a self. So the Buddha said to remove this, uproot this, attanu ditting uhacha. Remove this self-view, ditti. Attanu ditting uhacha, evang macchutarosya. In this manner, you will be able to go beyond death. Evang lokang avekkantang. If one sees the world in this manner, Machu Raja Napasyati, the king of Mara will not see you. That means you will not die. So again here the Buddha referred the term world. Buddha referred to this body, this person. That is how we have to see the world. The person means the 5 aggregates. There are 5 aggregates, 5 lots. When we say aggregates, in Pali or in Sinhala, we use the term skandha. In Sanskrit, skandha. In Pali, kanda. When we hear the word kanda, it reminds us of kanda, heap. It's a kanda. That is how we grasp this word. But it is wrong. Skanda means not a heap. Not anything heap. Kanda means the existence. Existence within time and space. The teaching of the Buddha is beyond time and beyond space. You know better, in science you talk about time and space. Buddha has very clearly defined, very clearly said what time and what space is. In the Mahapunnama Sutta, Buddha said what time is. Referring to time, the Buddha said there are 3 times, 3 ways to understand time. The 3 times are past, future or present. That is what is called time. So whatever exists within the time, that is skandha. Whatever exists within this space, how should we understand space? Space means whatever exists internally, externally, gross, subtle, inferior, superior, far and near. If anything exists in this space, that is what is called space. So everything exists within this time and space. So the Buddha's teaching, Buddha said, if anyone cling to this time and space, this existence, that is what is called clinging. Clinging to aggregates, clinging to 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates are here within. The form, feeling, perception, volitional formations and consciousness. Those are the 5 aggregates. So the Buddha taught the Dhamma to go beyond this time and beyond this space. Whatever exists in the time and space, it is something conditioned. Whatever is in the nature of condition, it is in the nature of changing. That is why the Buddha said, as his last word, the Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca. Sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. So, whatever exists in time and space, it is conditioned. What is beyond condition is the Nibbana. That is unconditioned. All other things are conditions. So, unconditioned thing is the attainment of enlightenment. That is how we have to understand this. So the 5 aggregates, these 5 aggregates, as long as we have these 5 aggregates, this existence of mind and matter, this psychophysical existence, we have to suffer. That is why we have to find a way to be happy, find a way to release these sufferings. The Buddha taught this way. The Buddha taught the 4 noble truths. The suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. That is the 4 noble truths. So to understand these 4 noble truths, we have to observe, we have to understand the world within. World within. Though you observe, analyze the external world throughout your lifetime, you cannot understand the 4 noble truths. You cannot understand a way to attainment of enlightenment. You cannot become even as once returner, Sotapanna, the first stage. You cannot come to even to the first stage of the holy life by observing, by analyzing things in the external world. We have to observe this inner world, the world within. Once there was a deity named Rohitas. He came to the Buddha and asked, Bhante, is it possible by traveling to go to the end of the world where there is no birth, death, decay, death, or reborn? Then the Buddha said, no, it is impossible to go to the end of the world by traveling, where there is no birth, decay, death, or reborn. Then he said, this is very correct, Bhante. This is very correct, Venerable Sir. I know this through my personal experience. In a time, he says, in the past, I was a sage. I had the power to run fast. I could run fast as a light arrow shot by a skillful fletcher. I started to run to come to the end of the world. My one foot I kept on the eastern shore of the ocean. The next foot on the western shore of the ocean. In such a speed I ran, I traveled to come to the end of the world. But I lived 100 years, but I could not come to the end of the world on the way I felt and died. Then I was born as a deity. That is how he said. Then the Buddha, where the Buddha revealed what the world is. The Buddha said, the world, the origination of the world, the cessation of the world, and the path leading to the cessation of the world is within. Lokancha, loka samudayancha, loka nirodhancha, loka nirodha gamini patipadancha, imasmin yeva bhyavamattake kalebare. Within this padam high body, imasmin yeva bhyavamatte kalebare, lokancha, loka samudayancha, loka nirodha gamini patipadancha panyapevi. So the world is within. The Buddha said, observe this world, understand this world. The prayers that I recited at the beginning of this talk, one monk went to the Buddha and said, Bante, loko te uchchati. Kittavatanuko Bante lokoti uchchati. Bante, this world is said. The people talk about world. The world is said. What is the world, Bante? He asked this monk. Then the Buddha said, Lujjate tiko bhikkhu lokoti uchchati. Sometimes it is said, Lujjati palujjati iti loko. Here in this particular discourse, the Buddha said, Lujjati tiko bhikkhu lokoti uchchati. It is lujjati. What is lujjati? Breaking. Disintegrating. But Buddha said, disintegrating itself is loka. This breaking itself is loka. So loka means breaking. Everything is breaking. Everything is changing. Everything is fall apart. Everything come to cessation. That is world. So lujjati tiko bhikkhu lokoti uchchati. After that, the Buddha explained what is lujjati, what is breaking, what comes to the to disintegration. The Buddha said, I is disintegrating, form is disintegrating, I consciousness is disintegrating, I contact is disintegrating, I feeling is disintegrating, then ear is disintegrating, the sound is disintegrating, the ear consciousness is disintegrating, ear contact is disintegrating, ear feeling is disintegrating, the nose is disintegrating, the smell is disintegrating, nose consciousness is disintegrating, nose contact is disintegrating, nose feeling is disintegrating, tongue is disintegrating, taste is disintegrating, tongue consciousness is disintegrating, tongue contact is disintegrating, tongue feeling is disintegrating, body is disintegrating, tangible is disintegrating, Body consciousness is disintegrating. Body contact is disintegrating. Body feeling is disintegrating. Mind is disintegrating. Mental object is disintegrating. Mind consciousness is disintegrating. Mind contact is disintegrating. Mind feelings is disintegrating. So this is the world. Is there anything apart from these 6 senses in the world? The whole world, what we call world, is nothing but the senses. If we have no senses, where is the world? To us, we call this is my world. This is my world. We have to understand my world, our world first. That is why we have to understand the world within. If we understand this world within, we can understand the Dhamma. If we can understand this internal world, we can understand the external world too. In the discourse of the blessings, Mangala Sutta, there is a stanza, Puttassa loka dhammehi chittang yassa nakampati asokang virajang kemang etam mangala muttama mangalang uttama. What is this Puttassa loka dhammehi? Puttassa loka dhamma here means loka is this. Loka dhamma are the senses. When we perceive things, when we conceive things, if we can be mindful, if we can keep a balanced mind, unshakable mind, the Buddha said that is the great blessing. When we see the world, we shake. With that shake, we try to grasp things, clinging to things, or we repulse. That these both are wrong. Grasping and repulsion, these both are wrong. So if we can keep a balanced mind, if we can be mindful, we do not grasp things, clinging to things, we do not cling to things, and we do not push, we do not repulse. Where we have mindfulness, we are practicing, so we don't want to cling. That itself is a great blessing. So this is how we have to understand the inner world, the world within. To understand the world within, we have to practice meditation. When we practice meditation, we have to be grounded, we have to understand ourselves. We have to understand this body. The Buddha said, keep this body as a fragile pot. Kumbhupamang kaya mimang viditva. And keep the body as a fortified city. Nagarupaman chittamidang tapetva. Yodeta marang panya yudena. Hit the Mara with the weapon of Panya, wisdom. What is the Mara? Here Mara means defilements. With the tool, with the weapon of wisdom, eradicate your defilements. Jitancha rakhe, at the same time, reserved what you have achieved. Anivesanosya, do not cling to anything. So there is nothing to cling to. Nacha kinti loke upadhyati. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha said, Nacha kinchi loke upadhyati. In the world, in this loke means world. Nacha kinchi loke, in this world, there is nothing to cling to. Let's understand this Dhamma. Let's try to not to cling to anything, not to grasp anything as our own. let's try to understand this body. Let's try to understand the feelings. Let's try to understand our mind and our experiences. Dhamma. This is how we can understand the 4 establishments of mindfulness, which is the way to the attainment of enlightenment, which is beyond time and space. So, I think we can stop now. As we all got together this morning, we observed the precepts, and from this morning we have been practicing. We practiced the Dhamma, we practiced meditation, we offered the puja in the name of the Buddha, and now you all listen to a sermon, this Dhamma talk. By doing all these things, you all acquire a great deal of merit. By the power of all this merit, may we all attain perpetual bliss of Nibbana. With that good thought, say sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we can take a break and then we can discuss the Dhamma after tea break. So we have tea break now.